Okay, we just dipped this crappie out of water about 2 foot deep, maybe. They gotta be 9 inches to be legal, so let's see if he makes it. It looks like he's about a 14. A little over. Getting close to 14 and a half. So yeah, I guess he's a keeper. Again, he was along the grass line. Water's about 60 degrees. And he was himself were less than a foot deep. The water was maybe about 2 foot. Caught him on this little 1/32 ounce jig tied by Jonas Freeman. And what I was doing to catch that fish is just, what you see here, up in this grass line, where the water out here where I'm at is about 4 foot. Up in there it's about 2 foot, but I'm just dipping this jig around structure, especially when you see one standing out like that. Drop her in there, and if you can hold it still, it's better. I'm usually too much of a spaz to do that. But just dipping around any likely structure and let it drop to the bottom if you want. It's not very deep. Somewhere right in that depth. Eventually one will probably bite it. That's why this muddy water is not always a disadvantage. You can get up close to them without spooking them. I've got what was formerly a 12-foot rod. You can see the patch right there where it's broken before. And it's probably still 11 and a half. But I'm that close to these fish. Muddy water, even though there's no wind blowing, it doesn't bother them a whole lot. Water's, as I said, about 60 degrees, so they're not bunched up generally. They're kind of scattered. But if you do this for long enough, something will hit it most of the time. And I should have kept filming because he got off, but he was right underneath that stick. And of course it's not going to happen now. Let him get off. And here's a little bitty one that just stumped it right along the grass line. He's not that little bitty, but he's a fighter anyway. Yeah, again, muddy water is not necessarily a stumper. I don't know if he'll be legal, but he's a crappie. We're gonna slop him up here. I think he'd probably make it. This cooler lid says that it's approximate, but having stuck a tape on it, oh yeah, he's fine. If I could just get a hold of him. He's easily over the 9-inch limit. Wow, I wouldn't have guessed him to be over 10. Shut his mouth. Put him on the 0. There's no way. Anyway, he's almost an 11 if you're pinching him shut like you're supposed to. He sure looked a lot smaller. I've pretty much fished the length of that bank that I wanted to. We missed one, caught a couple. So guess what we're gonna do now? We're gonna go back and start over. And when you see little stuff like that, like this little crappie just bit in, you may think, oh, that's only in about 10 inches of water. I'm telling you, this muddy water, they'll get up in there. It also shows it pays to go back over areas you've already fished. And that little 1/32 ounce jig, I call them Jonas jigs because Jonas Freeman tied it, is a good lure. He's got a lot on him that work well. Coming up on that same stick in the water where I lost a nice one earlier. See if he's moved. He's probably still there. It's just whether or not he is in the mood to bite yet. No, I'm just pre-fishing before I get there. It was under that same stick there. He should be right about here. Nah, he's not gonna bite this time, I guess. He may or may not still be there. But another point. You gotta fished there before, try it again. One may move in or may have been there the whole time. And this was the end result of the day. I threw back 3 little bitty ones, a bass and a bluegill. Caught most of these jigging like you saw there. And thank you for watching if you did.